It's been a minute since we got back to hunting unicorns, and as you can tell, my unicorn area has been repurposed to the garage. And the office is now full-blown world headquarters for fun arts. Hunting unicorns has gotten tough because the secondhand guitar market, amplifiers, instruments, has just blown up, and everybody seems to have access to the internet. So everybody that's got an estate sale, everybody that's doing garage sales, they do a little Googling search and they all determine that their garage sale estate items are worth, you know, eBay retail or Reverb retail, even worse. So the haggling has been difficult, but every once in a while you find something. So I've taken a chance on this. It is a Washburn, if you know. It's the Oscar Schmidt. It's the OE-30. It came with no strings. The tailpiece, the bridge, the nut, and the truss rod cover all were in a sandwich bag. Oscar Schmidt was a guitar manufacturer at the turn of the previous century, 1800s, like 1890s to 1920. Then they got bought by Harmony or Stella in a conglomerate, and this ended up as part of the Washburn family, ultimately. Not Washburn, built in Chicago, where I used to live, Mundelein. They were in downtown Chicago, then they moved out to the suburb of Mundelein. I've always been on that hunt. That's the real unicorn for me, a Washburn with a stamp inside it that says made in Mundelein. Back to the unicorns. This guitar might be worth, I don't know, a couple hundred, $250 when it's put together. And that's assuming that everything's gonna work. So we're gonna go on a little journey, and I'm gonna probably put more content in here than I should because I'm also getting back to working in Final Cut on a new iPad so that I can get a little bit more efficient with editing these videos so it's not so long, because I am going to be hunting unicorns. They're just really tough to find right now. One of the things I like to do when I end up with a guitar that I really don't know what's going to go on other than tapping on the pickups, I like to just put one string on just to see if it'll wire up and get some noise, and especially to see what kind of shape the neck is in, because they told me it's been about 3 weeks since this had strings on it. I'm guessing that the neck is going to be a little tweaked, and then I'm going to have to take it over to the Brinkley Music people and let their luthier have a look at it, because I don't trust myself with the big work. As I string up the guitar, some of you internet sleuths are going to notice that I immediately put that bridge in backwards. This is the Tune-o-matic style bridge, and I was unfamiliar with there's actually an incorrect and a correct way to do it. The small screws for intonation are supposed to be on the pickup side, which as I was assembling this made no sense, you know, common sense wise, because I would assume you'd want to be able to have access to hit the intonation screw while the guitar was, you know, in operational mode. Not true. And then there's things to understand about whether your string comes directly out of the stud tailpiece or has an overwrap. Here's a couple of pictures to see one and the other. So I'm going to do some additional experimenting. What do you all do with your Tune-o-matic bridges? Let's continue with the video. Volumes are up. Hey, that's a good sign. Hey, that's all you can ask for. That tells us that the pickups are working, the electronics are working. Let's see if there's any noise in the pots. Alright, looks good. That's both pickups, it's treble. Here's rhythm, or bridge. Sorry, neck. I know what I'm talking about. It's got a good tone, actually. Could be this. Oh yeah, I got all the bass up. Mids and trebles are cut. Has a little delay in there. Alright, well, that's a good sign. Let's see what the neck and the frets show us. There we're getting some buzz. All right, so a little buzz there, so we probably need to raise that bridge. And the neck could be totally shot. Well, if I was skilled enough to play way up there, I might be concerned. But for now, I think that's a pretty good start. Seems to be all okay. So let's go ahead and put on the GHS guitar boomers, which is, you know, the rest of this set. I watched the movie Sinners finally. Whole cast seems to be getting nominated for Academy Awards. Boy, it was pretty fantastic. I'm already looking forward to the sequel. And what about Buddy Guy? Turned out that the kid was Buddy Guy. How appropriate for a guitar guy. I was shocked. I was even more impressed that Mrs. Fun Arts, Laura Parvin, knew exactly who it was because we lived in Chicago for quite some time, and she said, "That's Buddy Guy." Matter of fact, I said to her right at the end of the movie, I said, "That might have been the best Easter egg I've ever seen in a movie." And it actually was so much extra story, it was more of a prologue. Hey, I should have said, spoiler alert. Speaking of which, who is actually listening to this, and which resonator was that kid playing in Sinners? I'll bet it's already on the internet, because somebody already wants to know that, I'm sure. So if you know, leave me a comment. I'd like to go put that on the unicorn list, right? And I also know that guy in the Buddy Guy band, the heavy dude that was playing, what is that, a Destroyer? That's a guy I've seen on Instagram and all over the internet, so I know he's somebody. I even think he played in the Fender booth at NAMM. I think I saw him there too, but I don't know him. I'll have to go actually invest a little time. All right, my friends, time to wind them up. Let's go back to that neck pickup. Well, certainly the neck is going to need some attention. I don't know if we can see anything. I'm just not that good at looking. It doesn't really look like it has any trouble. It might just be the bridge is a little too high, which then of course means it's going to need a little intonation. And I can see that where I lifted that to take care of the buzz, it's actually higher than the bass side. Can you see that? If you look right there, the bridge substantially higher than, the treble side, the high E string and the low E string, not quite in balance. But, you know, hey, for the price that I paid at the gas station next to the Starbucks, it's fine. But, hey, speaking of Larry Carlton, ooh, those strings are high. Let's do it up here. Oh no, sorry. How about both pickups? Well, that sounds real warm, that neck pickup. Could just be the amp. Let's go throw a little crunch on it. There's Larry. Yeesh. Yeah, okay, so a lot of work. Let's get it down and start working on intonation. I love working on guitars in the garage. It's fantastic. Last step before we decide if we're taking it over to Brindley. We'll give it a wash and then we'll take care of the intonation, because I'm sure that once this comes down, then there's going to be some buzzing in the neck, and the truss rod's going to need to be adjusted. So we're going to do this next. I won't bore you with it. We'll lower that bridge down. We'll be in good shape. So here we go. Well, that's it. We've got a good opportunity to get this Oscar Schmidt by Washburn out on the road, and I might keep it. I've always wanted a hollow body again. That little K that I have is just so small for me, and since I can't find a Gretsch that somebody's not looking for big money, the Oscar Schmidt may have to stay in my life for a little while. I used to have a Gibson 335, but I was too stupid to keep it. That would have been about 1978, a 335 dot neck, because as a guitar player that grew up in the 80s, Lee Ritenour, Larry Carlton, those were my players, and they're all 335 guys. Thanks for watching Fun Arts. It's fun because it's arts and music.